This is Wilson Black.
Alright, so Blacks. Alright, you make no qualms about it. You know, you don't try to hide it. You know, you come from the streets, whether it be when you first came here to. You were originally from DC when you first got here. That's the first place you got, right? They don't like these other niggas, but yeah, DC or Cameroon. You don't try to hide that, right? Yeah, I'm saying like with that, like okay. So as far as like when you first moved to the Cameroon, what you say would have gotten you like involved in the streets? Yeah.
Like so. To me, I don't know anybody who didn't grow up in the streets because we all grew up like in front of our houses, type thing. Right. By the time I was 11, 12, 13, I'd seen a lot more parts of adulthood that some other people had. Right. So from that perspective, by the time I landed in America right away, it wasn't really necessarily even like street shit. You know what I'm saying? I was just like a bit more hyped for my environment than my environment allowed me to be, and I ended up in military school. Right, so boom. Then like I'm in military school, you know, and I go to college. Right, so college is an interesting space because like I know about everything. You know, like there's people still getting convinced to put money in their accounts in 2020. I knew in 97 that was the stupidest shit you could do. 97. You know what I'm saying? It's a long time to have that little tidbit of information in so many. You know what I'm saying? So it's like college is really when involving myself in the streets out in the West started. Because like back home, like I said, like we're too poor to sell drugs, but you can't stay inside the house. You know what I'm saying? So it starts for like a better soccer ball. How y'all band up to get a soccer ball. Then, you know, somebody gets a Nintendo somehow, some way. Then the Super Nintendo appears on the set and it's just flowing, you know what I'm saying? Like
upgrade.
You know, then like one day the cops are knocking at your house, you know what I'm saying? Like you're 8, 9. And you know, it's like in that moment you make a decision. Somebody said some shit that really blew my mind. He's like, I made the decision to be a street person. I was like young. And how do I look as an adult trying to live off the decisions that I made when I was a young person? If a 15-year-old tried to come talk to me with any authority, I wouldn't listen to them seriously. You know what I'm saying? But like when I went and I looked at, you know what I'm saying? It's like, so boom, like the first time, for example, the police showed up at my house, I was like 8, 9. Apparently, allegedly, the Super Nintendo had been stolen from somebody's house, right? And the parents, because I was like, why did they let me borrow the Super Nintendo? But the fuck, I wasn't gonna complain, you know what I'm saying? And I was the youngest one, etc., etc. So boom, you're sitting there, and I knew I wasn't gonna tell him anything. You know, I didn't ask myself. It was just like a given, but that decision led to many other decisions. For example, I think it changed the way my mother viewed me. It changed the way my mother viewed my friends, right? Because up until then, we were just some innocent.
You're a kid.
Like the police showed up at your house in Africa, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like niggas climbed fences to, you know what I'm saying? This was niggas actually, you know what I'm saying? Found the niggas house, like you know. So boom, those sort of codes, because at the core of like before there's money in the streets, in theory there's supposed to be camaraderie.
Usually,
you know, niggas end up killing niggas that they went to elementary school with. You know, and like thinking that shit is cool over nothing. So my whole thing about like, so boom, college is really where I get involved with the streets over here. But like, I look like a nigga and I want the cheap price. You know what I'm saying? I'm on a college campus and I want the cheap price. Luckily, I was in a place in Canada. So if you're a nigga, you'll find somebody just for the look or put you in the right position.
That's a fact. You see that all the
You
time.
know?
Yeah.
Just for the look, cuz, you know, and then it snowballs from there. Right? You say to yourself, oh, I'm never gonna touch like white. Then you say, I'm never gonna touch brown. And you know what I'm saying? It's just snowball, 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 snowballs. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, my name is Blacks. I just vented with my man Slobs. Like, share, subscribe. Peace.